Hey everybody, I'm here tonight at Paul's Haunted Halls. Okay, so let me get a little more light on for you. Okay, that's a little better. Now what we got in front of us, okay, one right here, okay, just hang on. This has been a gravestone that has been chipped away from previous times before. You know, like at the Donnelly's Mass, like Donnelly's, you know, not Donnelly's, in Lincoln, Ontario, where people went around and chipped the stone over the years. Well, this is what people do, and they go out and band on stuff, and this is one of them here, okay? I'm not touching this one right at the moment because even though I got the gloves, people go in there and they chip them away, and I don't know why, but this is a piece off one that was found in the graveyard and it was auctioned off. This one here, it's got the papers and everything right here and the seal of everything right there. This is from when they went in there, when they built the Blue Ghost tunnels. Okay, they went in and they bulldozed over a cemetery. You know, and I find that quite disturbing. Just, you know, why couldn't the railroad go around, you know? But this is one of them right here, you know. The saying goes, activity doesn't start until either you touch it without permission. Okay, I've been here with this right now, with no activity. I'm going to turn this one on right now. And I'm going to turn this one on. Okay, as you see, I've got no activity, alright? So, I'm going to touch this and sit back and see what happens. Alright? I'm not going to ask. Okay? I know it's kind of rude, but I want some activity. And I'm pretty sure you all do too. So, let's see if the saying's true. Let's touch the stone. I'm going to go back there and sit back and see what happens. Alright, let's see what happens, everybody. Well, if you notice, we're getting some activity already, which is kind of creeping me out at the moment because I've been sitting here now for 40 minutes, that K2 meter on, and nothing has happened until I touch the stone, like they say. See? I'm going to take off my one glove and zoom the camera in for everybody here. Look at that. And all I did was touch it without permission, like the saying goes, you know. Look at that. As you see, nothing started until that. The saying is activity won't start until you touch the stone. I got gloves on because I don't want to leave my energy behind and I don't want to pick up the energy from the stone itself. Okay? So, I put gloves on for a reason. Alright? So, I believe it was in 1876, they went in when did their construction of the Old Wallen Canal and the Blue Ghost Tunnel. And at the time they bulldozed over the graveyard. A passerby 20 years ago noticed this stone, picked it up, took it home, since then it was auctioned off. As you see, the papers are right here. And there's a story behind it. I'm here for a reason, is because they want to know if it's haunted or not. And they had a story saying that if you touch the stone, activity will happen. But if you ask permission to touch the stone, activity will not occur. So I didn't ask for permission before I touched it, as you noticed in the video. I touched the stone, activity picked up, as you see. Every once in a while, I'm getting electromagnetic fields and electromagnetic fields. So once in a while, you'll hear the K2 meter go off. In that sense, I touched the stone. Okay? And they say the activity after you touch the stone will go on for at least 60 to 90 minutes. I promised them I would not leave until the activity had settled down tonight. So I'm here till this is. Okay, K2 meter went off, but as you see, we're still getting quite the activity on this. The energy totally changed as I touched the stone. And I tell you right now, I've seen a few stones before, one in Woodstock at Wade's Manor. I just seen one last week. But the one last week, the one at Wade's Manor, did not feel nothing like this one is right now. And I tell you, the activity has just totally changed in this room. It's getting colder as I'm speaking, you know. And when it comes to stuff like this, I always make sure I got the gloves on, you know, because I don't want to cross energies, you know. And I've read these papers. This stone here, okay, was put in the ground in 1809 just to be bulldozed in 1876. Didn't even get to be there for 70 years, you know. So, and if the light was on better, you could see where some markings here. You can see where they just went right across with the bulldoze. It's got marks down here, and it's all in the paperwork here because they had a specialist check the stone out. The only thing he could not verify was about it being haunted, so that's why I'm here. And since I've been in this room, touched the stone, like I said to you, I sat here for 40 to 45 minutes with the equipment on and nothing until I touched the stone. And the energy in the room right now is just totally gone. It feels different. The air is heavier to breathe. It's gotten cooler. Let's see what happens if I touch it more. Let's see here. Would you just look at that? That is just totally, everything just stopped now. My hand's a little shaky a bit here, as you can tell. But if I upset you, I'm totally sorry. As I get closer, if I back off a bit, it's the stone itself, you know. If you always ask why they always have the red lights and things like this, even including at Wade's Manor and a lot of these houses, because the red lights make the eeriness more eerie to people when they come in and do their tours. This is why they do this, and I ended up having to turn on the only light they got other than this room is like an emergency light, and that's the only light I got to work off of right But that's the reason why they always have the red color, is to make it feel more spooky, you know. And as you're in this room and the activity's going off like this, it just totally just makes you, like I said, I was shaking there a few minutes ago. But the activity jumps and it just dies, jumps and dies, you know. I'll back off so you know it's not me. As you see, we're even getting some electrical magnetic fields right now. But I honestly think I upset whoever the stone belonged to, because there's no name or nothing on it, you know, from years of erosion and stuff, you know. Like, I don't know how it could erode that quick with, but then again, if it was found on the road like 20 years ago or wherever they found it, you know, I could understand why the writing's gone today. And that's a problem with a lot of these old stones. If you ever walk through a gravestone yard, you know, or a cemetery, that a lot of these stones no longer have writing on them. The only way they know the person's name is every place a person's buried, they have a lot number, and they can go back by that and see who was buried there. And that's how you do stuff like that. And of course, since this was bulldozed, they don't even know whose stone this belonged to or whatever, you know. And that's the saddest part about this, because we can't even trace back who this belonged to, you know. And I believe in the papers there it said in the auction, it was auctioned off for $750. And just a little piece in front of it here auctioned off for $300. And they don't go cheap when they go on auctions and stuff, you know. And this is what I mean. Instead of bulldozing things over like that, why don't they take them out and auction them off? Because people like myself would be out there, I'm willing to buy stuff like this, you know. And just like Paul in his haunted halls here, you know, it's myself at home. I got a lot of haunted objects, including haunted dolls. I got a debunk box, a haunted clown from Wade's Haunted Manor. I got an 1800s old clock that's haunted, you know, and the list just goes on in my collection, but I do not have one of these yet, and I'd like to get one myself, but I have to get onto an auction. I want to come around the camera here and see if anybody's asked me any questions. Okay. You start to settle down. So notice your activity starting to go off a bit. Oh, I spoke too soon, didn't I? But yes, I'm working on myself to have tours go through my place with my haunted objects, but hopefully one day I'll get one of these guys here, you know. And this really upsets me how people just chip these away, you know, over years. And at least this one was auctioned off and sold for $300. This one, I think I said he's $700 or $750. He bought it for. It's in the paperwork here, so it's kind of dark for me to get in there and read it right now without my phone flashlight, and we're getting into the next room. So should I touch the stone again? Seems like you okay, here we go again. See what I mean? There was no activity till I touched it again. The reason why I got 3 pieces of equipment here, like I said, this is basically a good way of getting the test done correctly, you know, with objects like this. I'll be doing another test after these, and probably another one right after that before I actually give a confirmation that it is actually haunted. Just let me put on another clean glove here so I can move the stone in front here to show everybody that there's nothing in the front over here in the way of the K2 meter. Oh my god, this little piece is heavy itself. See what I mean? There's nothing there. There's nothing on here. Okay. That's just a great big piece of stone that was chiseled, well, piece of a headstone that got chiseled off a gravestone over the years, and at least the cemetery made some money off that by auctioning it off. And you've noticed over the years, one thing is, well, before I touch anything like this, I always make sure I got the gloves, and I'm just going to discard of them right now. And I'm starting to get goosebumps. Is it okay if I bring on Isabel? It's a doll from my home. If you want to see Isabel, make that go yellow. Thank you. Okay. I'm bringing out my little guy from home. My little girl, Isabel. I want to see what happens here. I got a feeling you don't like that. Isabel. You don't like her, do you? Okay, I'll remove her. Okay, I put her back in her case. You happy? The video I put up the other night, people, with me and Obsidian, it was strange. I thought it was one of the new dolls I brought into my home. And just to find out that very night, I woke up the next morning and Isabel had moved. And what I mean by move is when they move, they don't move like this. You know, it's 1 minute their hand will be here, and then you wake up the next day and their hands are like this. Okay, and that's another video I'm going to put up on online, because she was on camera of her hands down during the night, and sometime during the night her hands came up, and Obsidian and I both got woken up by something that night, and I believe it was Isabel that I just had here. So she's back in her case now, and she likes car rides. You don't like when I talk about Isabel, do you? Why? Because I'm here to talk about you, right? Exactly, okay. That's what we're going to do, alright? Calm down. But the whole night tonight, I had no activity, like I said, till I touched the stone here. Not this one, it was this one. So far, the myth, or the folklore, owns up to its story so far. That if you touch the stone without permission, you're going to have activity in your home for like 90 or 60 to 90 minutes. Because why tonight? I had these 3 pieces of equipment on, especially this one doesn't shut off, you know, and the other 2 shut off because they say batteries that way, and but that doesn't shut off. I sat here for 45 minutes tonight, and I had no activity till I touched this one here. And the reason why I'm not touching it right now is because, you know, I've had Isabel in this hand, and I'm not crossing energies from back and forth, including my hands from this to that to that to this, or the glove from that to this to this. And there'll be a topic I talk about later, because right now tonight I don't really got the time. I got about, I believe, another 15-20 minutes before I got to cut and pack up and get going, because I have to leave by 10:30, and I believe we're getting close to 10 o'clock now. According to my gut feeling, I'd say it's about 9:58, 59. Could be even 10:03, I don't know. But at the moment I can actually feel like something's trying to pull my energy out of me, and right now I had to put up my shield to block it, because if I don't, and you can tell it's upsetting this, because I shielded myself, to try to use my energy to communicate. Meanwhile, you see there's barely any light or anything here, and it's harder for them to charge themselves, you know. And I'm not in the mood to be faint or passing out tonight. And for the next little while, everybody, I'm doing tarot card readings, 15 minutes for $5. I did it today, and I killed the competition. Okay, but I'm gonna get a flashlight out so I can show everybody a better view of things here. Flashlight's coming on, everybody, so hang on. Dark, I can barely see. There we go. Look at that. Sorry, it's not quite the type of flashlight I wanted. I wanted a brighter one. So you see over in the front, this is more polished of a type of a stone at one time, as you can tell. Look at that. I can't believe they sold that for $300 in an auction. And this one went for $750, I believe. I think I said 700. But you can see the lines where they, over the years, where they came in and just plowed her over. Chip right there. It's got a chip there from the bulldoze, you know, and just sad. As you can see, there's no longer any name. There's maybe like an A here, an F. Very faithful. But they say the stone's roughly about 1809. How they could tell that, I do not know. I don't see anything on here unless it's the other side. But I ain't got time to look. It'd be better if I came in daylight to see this better, because like I said, they got this room made in a dark room for a reason with a red light, because they want everybody to feel like it's an eerie feeling. And I'm going to try to find a flashlight for everybody. Okay, we got it. Whoa! Did you just see that? The battery's dead. Just like that. I just changed them before I came tonight. Guess we're back to this one. I've seen it turn on, flicker a few times, and then right back off. And that's what happens in paranormal investigations all the time. Our batteries die just like that. Yeah, you can see over the years they've chipped in this area before they took this whole chunk on of it or broke it off or whatever they've done to it, you know. But right now I'm gonna head off and do a couple more tests on this, and I'll get back to everybody and let everybody know my results on the stone here. Like I said, the activity hasn't stopped since I've touched the stone with, you know, of course, gloves on. You all see me do that, and the activity's still strong in here. I can feel it, you know, and the room has basically dropped about 3-4 degrees since I've touched the stone, and it's just, at one moment I started shaking, and I do that because sometimes I get freaked out myself with certain objects because you don't have an explanation for what's happening at the moment. And this is a special light too, so I'm going to put it through here and see if we can get any writings through here. No, I didn't think so. But for now, everybody, I'm off. I'll let you all know my findings a little bit later on. And of course, you've seen some of them here right now. And I made a promise that I ain't leaving until the activity settles down, because I touched the stone without permission, and I just wanted to see if the myth was true. And so far I've totally found out, because I sat here, like I said, for 45 minutes. Nothing happening. As soon as I touched the stone, I had activity. So, but I got a couple more tests to do. I'm off right now, so enjoy your night, everybody. God bless.